In a world that, well, truly pivoted overnight to remote learning, especially after the pandemic hit, the digital skills of teachers and students aren't just nice to haves anymore. They're absolutely foundational.
Hmm.
But here's the big question. How do we move beyond just using a new tool in the classroom? How do we really equip educators to lead in this digital learning environment? It's a huge challenge.
It absolutely is. And that's precisely what we're diving into today. Our sources bring us a fascinating real-world case study.
Okay.
It's called the Commonwealth Digital Education Leadership Training in Action, or CDELTA for short. And we're looking at its implementation in Sri Lanka.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, it's a really compelling look at how one country is tackling these exact challenges head on. It offers some, well, invaluable lessons for all of us, I think.
So our mission today is basically to unpack how this program, CDELTA, aimed to foster what they call digital education leadership right from the ground up. We'll be pulling out some surprising insights maybe, and definitely the key lessons learned about how you actually scale something like this in the real world, in often complex situations.
Let's start with the global picture, maybe. The urgency. Because while digital tech is now pretty central to learning, a huge barrier often just comes down to institutions not being ready.
Mm-hmm.
And crucially, teachers often having limited digital skills themselves. We saw this so clearly during COVID-19, didn't we?
Oh, absolutely.
It just forced education systems everywhere into this rapid, often unprepared digital transformation.
And that's exactly where CDELTA comes in, is that right?
Precisely. It's an innovative, completely free online program. It comes from the Commonwealth of Learning, that's COL.
Okay.
And it's specifically designed to build those essential digital education skills and leadership qualities.
Free is a big plus right there.
Huge. And what's quite insightful about CDELTA is its whole conceptual framework. It looks at digital education leadership holistically, not just as a list of skills, but like a journey.
A journey. How so?
Well, the ultimate destination is what they call digital literacy. Now, this isn't just knowing how to use a computer.
Right.
It's broader. The ability to live, learn, and work effectively in our digitally connected world. Using online resources, managing your digital identity, engaging with networks. That's the goal.
Okay, so that's the destination.
Then there's digital education. That's the how, the actual teaching methods and strategies to build those digital literacies.
The pedagogy.
Exactly. And finally, digital education leadership. This is about providing direction, making learning more accessible, helping colleagues build their skills, making smart decisions about tech, fostering innovation, all aimed at achieving that digital literacy goal.
That framework sounds incredibly thorough. But I'm curious, how does a program actually translate these big ideas, developing digital identities, into practical lessons for a teacher or a student? Did the sources get into that?
They absolutely did. The CDELTA program itself is structured into 7 modules, all designed with that practical application in mind.
7 modules. Okay.
And the first 3, developing digital identities, mobilizing resources, and engaging with networks, are actually quite flexible. They're designed for a wider audience, including secondary school students, even lifelong learners.
Ah, so not just teachers initially.
Right. But for teachers and education practitioners, the full 7 modules are available, obviously going deeper. The overall objectives are pretty clear. Help participants develop their digital identities, learn to create and share digital content for learning, and engage in personal learning networks so they can learn and lead by example.
And the platform itself, what's that like?
It sounds quite impressive, actually. It's open, totally free, and accessible to individuals or institutions. A really smart feature is the self-assessment pretest. Depending on your score, you get a certificate, beginner, intermediate, or fluent level.
Oh, nice. A bit of motivation.
Exactly. It acts as a great motivator. Plus, you earn digital badges as you go through the modules. And the platform also works as a community of practice, so people can share resources and connect with peers. It's really designed to be self-driven.
Okay, so with that global picture and the program structure in mind, let's zoom in on the proving ground. Sri Lanka. This sounds like a fascinating and probably challenging real-world test.
It really was. Despite having policies about ICT in education, the country faced, and still faces, significant systemic barriers.
Like what specifically?
Well, things like inadequate ICT infrastructure in schools, patchy internet connectivity, sometimes a lack of relevant digital content, issues with maintenance, and a really significant gap in teacher capacity and confidence with tech.
Right.
And on top of that, you've got issues like unequal internet access across different regions and growing concerns about cybersecurity, All this just makes the need for something like C Delta even more acute.
That's quite the context. So how did they actually roll it out?
The Open University of Sri Lanka, OUSL, took the lead. They implemented C Delta as an innovative intervention between 2018 and 2022, and they used a two-pronged approach. First, they offered C Delta as a free, non-credit, self-directed course to their own teacher education students.
Makes sense, starting with future teachers.
Exactly. And second, they implemented it directly in selected secondary schools across the country. They use a very practical, iterative process, kind of like action research, constant cycles of planning, acting, observing, reflecting.
And they used a training of trainers model, didn't they? The TOE2 model.
Yes, that was really clever. They selected certain teachers, trained them as school coordinating teachers, or SCTs.
SCTs, okay.
And then those SCTs went back to their schools to train other teachers and students.
Passing the knowledge on.
Right. And in the third group, or cohort, they added another layer. Provincial coordinating teachers, PCPs, to support the SCTs, sort of building a deeper support structure.
Okay, PCT supporting SCTs. Got it. What about the numbers? Did it reach many people?
Well, the numbers are interesting. For that third cohort, the awareness reach was pretty significant, over 4,400 people oriented, including principals and educators. That's a big jump from the first two cohorts, which had about 41 and 33 coordinating teachers respectively.
Wow, okay. Awareness was high.
Yes, but, and this is important, despite that high initial interest, various practical problems and some unexpected challenges meant that the actual registration and completion rates were comparatively lower.
Ah. So, high interest, but lower follow-through. That sounds familiar for online courses sometimes.
It really does. It's a critical point, actually, and something lots of initiatives grapple with when they try to scale up.
You mentioned lower completion rates. What were the specific challenges, the big hurdles people faced once they actually signed up?
We'll definitely get to those hurdles because they offer some really key lessons. But first, let's focus on what did work well. Because the C Delta program itself had some powerful positive features.
Okay, the positives first.
Its accessibility was huge. Being free and online meant people would access it remotely. And its flexibility really stood out. Self-directed study, learn at your own pace. They even translated content into local languages, Sinhala and Tamil.
Oh, that's crucial for uptake.
Absolutely. One participant said something like, I identify the importance of integrating the very valuable concepts of C Delta in my subject and hope to integrate those concepts to increase the quality of my lessons.
That's great feedback.
Yeah. And its relevance was clear. It gave practical skills for using digital tech in teaching. A teacher mentioned using concepts like social networks, OER, advanced searching, managing digital identity, right in their grade 11 lessons.
So directly applicable stuff.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the motivation from the certificates and badges. One teacher said, I completed all modules and obtained 7 badges. It was a very nice feeling.
Yeah, that sense of accomplishment.
And a student added, I did not want to give up until I get the certificate. I was so happy when I got the certificates. Those little wins matter.
They really do. So those were features of the program. What about the way they actually ran the project? The intervention?
Right. The intervention strategies themselves also had strong points. That action-oriented approach, the action research cycle, that was incredibly effective. It really motivated teachers not just to do the course, but to organize activities in their schools, even run their own small action research projects using C Delta.
So it got them actively involved.
Deeply involved. And the TOE model, as you mentioned, turned out to be really flexible and cost-effective. Plus, it clearly fostered leadership skills and built connections between those coordinating teachers, the SCTs and PCTs.
It sounds like it wasn't just scaling training, but maybe uncovering hidden leaders.
That's a great way to put it. It absolutely unlocked latent leadership. Teachers became these powerful local champions, sometimes surprising even themselves. And even though C Delta is online, they use blended strategies, face-to-face meetings, Zoom, Moodle, WhatsApp groups. That support was crucial.
Okay, so a strong program, clever implementation, but then those challenges you hinted at. What were the big roadblocks when they got into the thick of it?
Yeah, this is where the friction happens, right? Where the real learning often is. Despite all the positives, they hit significant challenges.
Such as?
Well, the common practical stuff.
Yeah.
Not enough computers or poor internet facilities in schools, slow connectivity. And then there were skills gaps, limited ICT skills, or sometimes English language proficiency acting as a barrier.
Okay, the tech and skill side.
But here's a really crucial insight. It wasn't just the tech. Human factors were huge. Things like teachers just not having enough time because of heavy workloads.
The time crunch. Always a factor.
Always. And even some initial negative attitudes from some staff members who maybe weren't convinced. These things can be just as big, if not bigger, roadblocks than not having enough computers, especially when crises hit.
And crises did hit, didn't they?
They certainly did. COVID-19 severely impacted the second and third cohorts. And then on top of that, Sri Lanka faced unexpected political, social, and economic difficulties that really hit cohort 3 hard.
Wow, a perfect storm almost.
It was incredibly challenging. Many teachers made truly valiant efforts to continue. You have to admire that. But inevitably, others just had to drop out. The circumstances were too much.
That's a stark reminder of just how complex real-world implementation is. But despite all that, you said there was still a profound impact.
Yes, remarkably so. It really speaks to the program's design and the participants' motivation. The impact was diverse on teachers, students, even the institutions.
Okay, let's break that down. What about leadership?
Big impact there. Those provincial coordinating teachers, the PCTs, they gained invaluable experience leading groups of teachers. They talked about wanting to keep helping and leading students and teachers, wanting to be digital leaders.
So it really sparked that leadership identity.
It seemed to. And the school coordinating teachers, the SETs, also felt their digital skills and leadership were boosted. They felt motivated to provide leadership and share knowledge more widely. They became those local champions we talked about.
And did that leadership translate into better skills across the board?
It looks like it. Teachers gained crucial knowledge on using social media and devices safely and wisely. One teacher said, "I was able to use concept maps, OER, and advanced searching to develop my students' learning as well as my own teaching and learning process."
Practical skills again?
Very practical. And they started guiding their students on safe internet use, appropriate social media behavior. Another teacher observed, "Students are more responsible when they use social networks." They were able to get a positive impact from safe digital literacy and digital identity into their learning.
That's huge. Affecting student behavior, too. Did it change how teachers actually taught their pedagogy?
Yes, significantly.
Yeah.
That was another major impact area. Teachers started integrating C Delta concepts right into their lessons, like teaching about the digital divide and digital bridge.
Wow. Embedding it in the curriculum.
Exactly. Their teaching styles evolved. They started using more online activities, open educational resources, OER, tools like mind maps. It wasn't just about adding tech. It was fundamentally shifting how they approached teaching. That's a powerful change.
Definitely. And the students, how did it support their learning?
Crucially, it did. Teachers use C Delta concepts to help students explore the internet more effectively, use OER. There was an example of a grade 10 ICT class using OER to create a booklet for a lesson on operating systems.
So more active, resource-based learning.
Right. And teachers also noticed improvements in students' English skills, their ability to learn independently self-regulated learning, and just generally their learning to learn skills. One teacher noted, "This course helps students to learn by themselves, and also it greatly helped to get them good scores in the ICT subject." Direct impact.
That's a great outcome. You mentioned a website, too.
Yes, a key output was this website, Digital Education Leaders in Action. It's basically a public platform for teachers to share their reflections and experiences.
What kind of things are on it?
Teacher stories, concept maps they created, publications, photo galleries, videos. It showcases their work. And the reflections from the 64 teachers featured there are really telling.
What do they say?
They consistently describe C Delta as a practical solution. They talk about how it improved their digital knowledge and literacy, how it was great professional development, how it raised awareness of technical stuff and ethics. Many highlighted how useful it was during the pandemic. And they mentioned improved confidence, better management of teaching and learning, more collaboration, using more advanced digital tools. It paints a picture of really comprehensive growth.
So, wrapping this all up, what does it mean for the future? What are the big takeaways?
Well, despite all those challenges, and they were significant, C Delta clearly offered something new and highly motivating for these teachers. The lessons learned in Sri Lanka give us real insights into scaling, adapting, and sustaining these kinds of initiatives.
Well, like what specifically?
The action-oriented Taki approach, it worked. It could be systematically expanded, using those trained coordinating teachers to lead the way.
Leveraging the champions.
Exactly. And another promising idea is training secondary students themselves as digital education leaders, tapping into that younger generation's comfort with tech.
That makes a lot of sense. What about adapting the program?
Critically important. The need to tailor content locally came through loud and clear. Translating into local languages using local examples, that makes it relevant.
Right. And connecting it to the existing curriculum.
Absolutely. That helps with integration and for sustainability. Offering C Delta as a free, non-credit course, positioning it as ongoing professional development, CPD, for teachers.
Yeah.
That's key. Plus, ongoing support and encouraging that open sharing of experiences, it really feels like a potential blueprint.
It does sound like it.
Yeah. C Delta in Sri Lanka is just a really compelling example. It shows how a well-structured, adaptable program, even when facing huge hurdles, can genuinely build digital education leadership and skills at scale. It underlines the impact of investing in teachers. It can transform things from the ground up.